Welcome on the YouTube channel, The Retiree's Handbook. If you enjoy our content, leave a like on the video and subscribe to our channel. Today, we're diving into something really important. News that's going to affect millions of people across the country. We're talking about SNAP. You probably know it as food stamps, and a massive overhaul to the rules that's coming up really soon. So get this, a brand new law is set to kick in October of 2025, and it's going to have a huge impact on who can get food assistance and how they get it. If you, or maybe a friend or family member, rely on benefits like SNAP, SSI, SSDI, or even VA benefits, you absolutely need to know what's on the horizon. So let's break it all down.
All right, first things first, let's get a really clear idea of what this big shakeup is all about. What is actually changing at the very core of this program that so many people depend on? Now, just to make sure we're all on the same page, let's do a quick refresher. SNAP stands for the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program. It's the federal program that helps low-income families, seniors, and folks with disabilities buy groceries. You get a monthly benefit on what's called an EBT card, which, well, it works just like a debit card at the supermarket. For millions, it's the lifeline that helps put food on the table. Okay, so here is the single most important takeaway. In October 2025, this new law is going to roll out much stricter rules and conditions for getting and, crucially, keeping those benefits. And listen, this isn't some minor adjustment or a little tweak around the edges. We are talking about a major overhaul that's going to completely redefine who is eligible. If we look at the timeline here, you can see how this all unfolded. Before, these work rules mainly applied to a specific group known as Able-Bodied Adults Without Dependents, or ABAWDs for short. And even then, there were a lot of exemptions based on your age or health. But now, a new law has expanded these requirements. And come October 2025, those much stricter rules with way fewer exemptions will officially be the law of the land for a lot more people. And that leads us, of course, to the biggest question of all. Who is going to feel the impact of these changes the most? Let's zoom in and take a closer look at the specific groups who are about to face some brand new hurdles. Before we get into the list of who's affected, I want you to focus on this number right here, 80. 80 hours a month. This is the new magic number, the new benchmark for the work requirement. A whole lot of people will now have to prove that they are working or are in a qualified job training program for at least 80 hours every single month just to keep their food benefits. So who exactly are we talking about here? Well, these changes are aimed squarely at several specific groups. We're seeing brand new rules for older adults, some military veterans who used to be exempt, caregivers whose kids are no longer considered very young, and of course that existing group of ABAWDs who are about to face even stricter enforcement. Let's start with older adults, because this is a big one. It used to be that people aged 50 and over were generally exempt from these work rules. Well, the new law is pushing that age limit up. Think about someone, let's call her Sarah. She's 52, she has arthritis that makes physical work really tough, but she doesn't have an official disability status. Before, she was exempt. Now, she might be forced to find 80 hours of work a month, or she could lose her food assistance entirely. These changes are also going to impact our nation's veterans. In the past, there were specific exemptions in place for those who served our country. The new law has cut back on those protections. What this means is that a veteran, let's call him James, who served but doesn't have any dependents or an official disability rating from the VA, could now be subject to that same 80-hour work rule. You can imagine how frustrating that is for someone who feels like they're facing a whole new battle just to make ends meet after their service is over. Caregivers are also feeling the squeeze. The exemption for taking care of a child used to go up to age 18. Now, that cutoff is being lowered in some places. So just imagine a single parent with a teenager, say 15 or 16 years old. Suddenly, they might not qualify for that caregiver exemption anymore. They'll be expected to meet the work requirement, which adds this incredible pressure while they're still trying to manage their teenager's school schedule and just be a parent. So what about people who are exempt? You know, if you get SSI or SSDI, you are protected from these new work rules. But, and this is a big but, that doesn't mean you're not going to be affected. This quote here really captures the other side of the story. It's from someone we'll call Maria, who's 60 and on disability. She's safe from the work rules, but she's still feeling the pinch. So why is that? Well, this points to a more hidden but incredibly powerful change in how the benefits are actually calculated. See, SNAP benefits are based on something called the Thrifty Food Plan, which is supposed to reflect the cost of a basic healthy diet. In the past, this plan could be updated to keep up with rising food prices. But under the new law, any future updates have to be cost neutral. What that means in plain English is that for your benefits to go up, the program has to find savings somewhere else. Over time, this could mean your SNAP benefits fall further and further behind the real cost of groceries, basically shrinking your buying power.
So why is all of this happening? I mean, what's the logic behind it?
This brings us to the great policy debate that's been raging behind the scenes. It's really important to understand both sides of this argument.
So what's the thinking behind this huge overhaul? Well, on one side, you have the supporters of the new law. They argue that it promotes work and self-sufficiency. The idea is that these work requirements will act as an incentive to help people move off of government assistance and into the workforce. They also talk about the need to control federal spending and keep the program affordable in the long run. But on the other side of the debate, you have the critics. They argue that these changes are going to cause real, tangible harm. They believe that the 80-hour rule is an impossible barrier for many people, especially if they live in an area with few jobs or have health issues that aren't officially documented as a disability. They say this will just increase hunger and put unbelievable pressure on already vulnerable people, like our seniors and veterans.
Okay, so we know these changes are coming, whether we like them or not. So the most important thing right now is to be prepared. Let's walk through some really practical, concrete steps you can take to navigate these new rules. So what can you actually do? It really comes down to 3 key steps, and they're pretty simple. First, you need to confirm your official status. Second, you have to save all of your paperwork, like your life depends on it. And third, start looking for local resources now, before you might actually need them. Let's break down step 1, confirm your status. If you get disability benefits like SSI or SSDI, you are exempt. But, and I cannot stress this enough, you cannot just assume the system knows that. You have to be proactive. That means calling your caseworker and making absolutely certain that your file correctly shows you as exempt from work requirements. If you get any letters asking you to join a work program, don't ignore them. Respond right away with proof of your disability. Step 2 is all about documentation. The new law also changes how states get funded, which means they might have to share more of the costs for any errors. So what does that mean for you? It means they're probably going to get much stricter with verification to avoid making those costly mistakes. So you need to get organized. Keep everything in one place. Proof of disability, income statements, medical bills, you name it. Have it all ready to go at a moment's notice. And finally, step 3 is about building your own safety net. Because of that cost-neutral change we talked about, there's a real chance your benefits won't stretch as far as they used to. So it's a really smart idea to find out now where your local food banks are or which churches have food pantries. These local charities are going to become even more vital for families who are trying to fill that gap. When you step back and look at the big picture, these changes to SNAP aren't just about groceries. They're part of a much bigger national conversation about work, poverty, and what the role of government support should be. These new rules really force us all to ask a tough but critical question. What is the future of America's social safety net? If you like this video, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and leave a like.